last night. So the Eagles win 26-18. They are on a 6-game winning streak right now. They've been on that since their bye week. So they've been on a fire. The Eagles have been starting to figure it out. They beat the Commanders in convincing fashion. I think the score doesn't really reflect on how dominant the Eagles were in this game. It was slow. I mean, the second half was a lot more scoring than the first. I mean, the Commanders scored a touchdown in the first half, and then they didn't score until the fourth quarter, a touchdown. So, like, I was a little shocked. I was expecting more of a shootout, kind of like the Bengals-Ravens game, but both of these defenses were really good last night. I mean, there were a couple passes. Like, there was one play where Jalen Hurts threw it to Devontae Smith in the end zone. The Washington corner was just right there. Just perfect defense. And I was a little surprised about the 4th and 2 with like 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They were on enemy territory at the 26, the Washington Commanders, and they decided to go for it. And here's what Dan Quinn, the Washington Commanders head coach, said after the game about that play. He was explaining like, hey, we prepared for this. This is exactly what we were ready for. And Jane Daniels, he just fumbled the snap. So let's go ahead and hear his thoughts, and then we'll get right back into the pod, guys.
Biggest play, obviously, to go for it, and 4th down and 2 at the 26. Bold call, but I would also say we're prepared for that moment. Don't love the execution, but we've been an excellent 4th down team. So going into it, we knew we'd have to take our shots against a tough division team on the road. We thought that was an appropriate one. Certainly don't like the execution and the result, but we were prepared for that and being bold into those moments, knowing we'd have some 4th downs. But that's one we could fix.
All right, so he said, you know, the execution wasn't great, which it wasn't. Jaden Daniels kind of fumbled the snap a little bit, and then he had to run to the outside, which I thought he had the first down until the Eagles defender came out of nowhere and just hit him in the shoulder pads. I was like, uh-oh. I don't think it was the right call. 8 minutes left. You have the opportunity to get points. You have the opportunity to take the lead. Eagles, they score a touchdown after that. I mean, that was a big deal. And if the Commanders score a field goal there and the Eagles score that touchdown, Commanders are only down by 6. So they're not in a crazy deficit. But when they got the ball back, they just didn't do anything with it. Jaden Daniels threw an interception. So, I mean, it was just that was a call that decided the game. And sometimes that happens. And a lot of coaches nowadays are going for it on 4th down. And I like the aggressiveness, but sometimes when you're in the 26 and it's a pretty easy field goal for your kicker, I feel like you should take advantage of that. I mean, I disagreed with that call a little bit, but I mean, let's look at what showed out last night, which was Saquon Barkley. I mean, he has just been absolutely unbelievable. 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, was doing some amazing things after the catch. I mean, spinning around all the offensive linemen, you know, making things happen. That's why Saquon Barkley is so great. He's such a great player. He is a huge difference maker. I mean, you can't. And Jalen Hurts last night, to me, he didn't look that great. I mean, he had one pass where he just completely missed A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown cooked the corner on the play. I mean, he literally was wide open, and Jalen Hurts threw it out of bounds. It was like way to the left of A.J. Brown. I'm like, it was an out route. That should be the easiest route in football for a quarterback to throw. So, like, I was really confused there. I was like, okay, Jalen Hurts needs to get his stuff together. But, I mean, he had a tush push, which that's the only thing this guy can seem to be able to do is the tush push. I mean, that's all he seems to be good for. I mean, he's a pretty average quarterback when you watch him. There's nothing phenomenal about his game. And even though he's a dual threat, he's not the fastest guy. I mean, he's not that fast. I mean, he can run, yes, but, like, he's just big and strong. And he was taking some big hits last night. And he was in the medical tent right before halftime going through concussion protocol. So, and that he was cleared to play for the second half. But, I mean, that's a little concerning for the Eagles. You can't have your quarterback taking hits like that, getting laid out on a consistent basis, running the football. I mean, you got to be a little bit more careful. I know he's a very run-heavy quarterback, and that's your offense, but sometimes the quarterback needs to just throw the ball. And especially when you got Saquon Barkley, I mean, screw it. He can just check it down to him whenever he wants. So I'm going to say, the Eagles, they looked good, but I think the Commanders were just a shade of themselves. I mean, Terry McLaurin didn't really show up like I thought he would. Now, the run game was good. Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson looked really good last night. They had some explosive runs, but I just feel like for Jaden Daniels, something seemed a little bit off about him last night. He was underthrowing his receivers a little bit. He was a little inaccurate. He's throwing the ball behind people. I mean, I get it. He's a rookie, but for a guy who's been playing at as high of a level as he is, I expect a little bit more out of him, especially in a primetime game like this. So I think they definitely underperformed, and they had a chance at the end of the game to get back into it, but they just couldn't get the onside kick. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, 2 onside kicks have been converted this year out of 31 or 30 or something like that. Like, like, it's hard now. I mean, the Cowboys and the Bucs are the only 2 teams to do it, but to set that play up was a spectacular play by Zach Ertz. He had himself a phenomenal night last night. 6 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown for his homecoming, because he's against his old team, the Eagles. I mean, he was a dog on the Eagles, but he had a great catch. Reminded me of Super Bowl 43, San Antonio Holmes toe tapper. It was the exact same thing. So this is the play of the week. We're going to go ahead and play this for you guys. It was absolutely an unbelievable play. So let's hear this right now.
I'm the last gen. What do you want me to tell you? Here's a 2-point try here. Daniels rolling, trying to get rid of it. Looking downfield. Can somebody get open? Well, not yet. Adrian Hill just announcing this is under review.
Beyond that, well, look at this guy. Look at the
Incredible.
effort. 34-year-old guy, former Eagle.
Yep.
Yeah, I was watching it live, and I'm not even gonna lie, I couldn't really tell at first if it was a catch. I was trying to look at the replay. I was like, oh my goodness, did he catch it? Did he not? And he didn't even look like he could see the ball. Like, he looked like he couldn't even see it. I was like, this is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that might be one of the greatest catches. Like, it has to be in the conversation. I mean, for you to be able to put your feet down like that, so difficult. It looked like he was out of bounds when he first caught it. And he's in the back end of his career. And for Zach Ertz to show up the way he did last night, that was pretty huge. He just needed everyone else around him to be better. That's all the Commanders were missing last night. But Zach Ertz, great play. That's our play of the week. I mean, that is just phenomenal. And his Eagles return, like I said, I mean, he played for the Eagles from 2013 to 2021. It was only his second touchdown, or excuse me, not his second. He had a touchdown in the game, but that was a phenomenal play. Phenomenal play. That put Washington down 8. It gave him an opportunity, but they couldn't execute after that. But that was a tough break for Washington. Tough game, but
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Right way paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my